Good Sunday afternoon. Several of my followers have asked me how to make colloidal silver, and so I have put together a video that I am going to stream to show folks how they can easily make colloidal silver at home. Greetings, everyone. This is David, and I have been asked by some of my followers how to make colloidal silver. And so I'm going to do this video to try to give some instruction or tutorial of how to make colloidal silver and what you need to do it. And so this is my first time trying to do this, so I'm hoping that it'll be instructive enough and that you can see for yourself how you can make colloidal silver at home. Now, one of the first things that you will need is, of course, a glass jar, glass, cup, whatever you want to make your silver in, or colloidal silver, you want it to be glass. You don't want it to be plastic. However, it does need to have a plastic lid. Now this lid, I have drilled 3 holes in this lid. And the bigger hole is for a air hose, an air tube, which comes from an aquarium air pump, and I'll show you the process of that. Also, you will notice that I drilled 2 smaller holes in this lid, and that will be where the silver rods will go down into the jar, like so. But to do that, I made myself just 2 little old sticks. You could use anything, probably chopsticks, pieces of plastic, whatever. And what you want is to place your silver rods about 1 inch apart, and then leave enough sticking up above the wood, to clip an alligator clip with a lead and an alligator clip on the other end. Now what I have done is I have made this little jig out of 2 pieces of wood and just little, I guess these are like file clips, little file clips, little doohickeys, and just put that on there down yonder, like that, on one end, and then take the other rod and place it in the other end to where they are about 1 inch apart. So about 1 inch apart, and then take a second clothespin, something, rubber band, something that you can put on here, and squeeze those together so that it holds your rods. And then, like I say, you don't want them up too high. So I'm going to pull those down just a little bit. You want just enough to clip onto, and for your rods to go down into the water as far as they can. And that's kind of sort of what that looks like right there. And then it goes into these two holes here. I've got them spaced a little bit narrow. Okay. Try to keep them from touching. Okay. And then they go down into the jar like this. Then an alligator clip with the clip on both ends. One clip would go on a rod like so, and the other end would go on 3 9-volt batteries. Now 3 of these will make 27 volts DC, and so when they're placed together in series like so, you have 27 volts. So then this being the plus side, the small being the plus side, and then the larger side is negative. So you would want one wire to positive and one wire to negative, and then the other end to each separately of the silver rods. Now my silver rods are 4 inches long. They are 10 gauge, and I got them online from Atlas Nova Pure, whether you can see that or not. Atlas Nova Pure. .com. atlasnova.com. Now the rods that you use, or the silver that you use, needs to be 99.99% pure silver. Now sterling silver won't work, and so you want your silver to be 99.99% pure. Now, having 27 volts here will make this quart jar of colloidal silver in about 2.5 hours. Now, I've made two separate tries at this, and the first try I did not have air to keep the water moving, to make the particles of silver to be tiny, tiny, tiny. And what happened was, because there was no movement of the water, the particles of silver were larger, and because they're larger, they reflect light. And instead of being clear like it should be, it was a dark amber color. But I discovered through my research that the darker colloidal silver, the larger particles, are the best for external use, like in spraying on insect bites, spraying on scratches, cuts, abrasions, all kinds of different, lacerations and stuff that you get on your hands and your arms when you work and do things, that is the best for the external use, and then also for making colloidal silver gel, which is pure aloe gel with about 3 tablespoons of the large particle colloidal silver, and then impact them together. And then also you can make lotions for like sunburn and different things like that. But what I make this for is to use in my nebulizer. I make this particular silver to use in my nebulizer. And I have emphysema and COPD. And so when I get kind of sort of feeling like I got an elephant sitting on my chest, or I get to feeling like I got maybe a cold in my nose or something, what I do is put about a half a teaspoon of this colloidal silver in my, I think it's called a cannulin. It's a little bucket doohickey that goes on the nebulizer, about a half a teaspoon in here, and then hook it up to my nebulizer air compressor, and I inhale it through my nostrils and my mouth both. And so I also discovered that you can use colloidal silver as eye drops and ear drops. And so I've even allowed the mist from the nebulizer to make contact with my eyes. And I am finding out I'm having extremely wonderful benefits from that. All right, now, colloidal silver is made with water, but the water, to make good colloidal silver, water needs to be, let's see if I can get that in, distilled. Distilled. It needs to be distilled water, not purified water, not reverse osmosis, but distilled water. Now I fill the jar right up to the bottom where the threads are, right there. And so in making this, then place the rods into the water. And then now I place the aerator to where it'll go down close to the bottom, not right on the bottom, but close to the bottom, right in between these two rods. I need to get them a little closer together. They need to be about an inch apart. So about like that. Now I'm going to connect my alligator clips to the rods. That way I get them kind of sort of situated like they're going to be. Now you don't want to let these touch each other, because they will kind of sort of create a spark. All right, now I'm just using red for positive. So I'm going to put the red. See if I can get this where you see it the best. I'm going to put the red to the positive. And then the black. Let's see there. You can see that pretty good. Then the black to the negative. All right, now we are making colloidal silver right now. So these two wires or rods that are in this water, because of the electrosis, will from the negative to the positive, it will pull silver off of one of the rods and be mixed into the water. So what I do is plug in the aerator now. And just let that bubble and trouble and... Alright, hey, greetings once again, everybody. It's been 2 hours now, and I've changed the alligator leads up on top of the jar up here about 3 times. You see right there they are. Just swapped them lead to lead so that it doesn't take the silver off of the same rod all the time. Now the darker, it's better to do this in the dark because light has a tendency, if you get too much light, it'll turn it an amber color. And so one of the ways that you test to find out whether or not you're making silver real good or not is to put a laser. Now I have a laser pen here, and to shine a laser through the jar and see if the silver will reflect off of it. And there, see the going right through. So that is the silver reflecting off of the laser light. So we've got some good silver, but I'm going to make it stronger yet. So I'm going to go for about 3 hours, and then we'll see what I've got a gauge that tells me how many parts per million I've got. So in 3 hours I'm going to do that. And I kind of like playing with this, really. Okay, it's been 3 hours now, and once again, the laser test you see the laser go all the way through the water, then you know you got good silver that is reflecting the light of the laser. So I'm going to shut this off and remove the rods out of the water. Now I don't have much light, and so now as the silver makes the rods, you know, they were silver, now they're kind of a grayish looking color, and there's a scale, kind of a soft scale on them, and when the electricity is released and those rods are pulled out of the water, that stuff will drop off and sink to the bottom. But when this is all done, I'll strain it through a coffee filter into a wine bottle that is kind of a greenish color. Now you do not want to store this in sunlight or even your house lights. You want to keep this in a dark place, and preferably in a colored glass jar, bottle of some kind. Amber, blue, green, that will filter the sunlight, but it's better to keep it in a cabinet that is dark. And so you can have a plastic lid. I use a cork. So I'm going to shut the electricity off to it and take the rods out of the jar. Well, that kind of just washes everything out, don't it? All right. Well, you can see that chunks of stuff floating around in the water, and that is off of the electrodes. So let me take the air out. Okay, now we're going to lift the rods out. Now this is what they look like now. They're silver at the top, and silver where the water don't touch them. At the end, they're dark. So then there's a I'm holding the camera. I have a kind of a pad for washing dishes, non-abrasive sponge pad. And what you do is you take it and let me set my camera. Let me set my camera down, because this also is an important part of making colloidal silver. And you take the take the clamp off, and then take the cloth, the abrasive sponge, and just clean that. Shine it up. Just take and shine it up, and it won't return to just absolutely shiny silver, but you can see that it is cleaner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure how much silver I have in my concoction here. And I have a TDS. Meter. So I'm going to check out how much. Now, distilled water has 1 part per million something in it. So let's find out how much silver I have in here. Yeah, something didn't work right. All right, let's try it again. Okay, so what we have is I don't know whether the camera shows that or not, but we have 9 parts per million. Now I was shooting for 10, and so probably my battery power went down a little bit, but 9 is good, so I'll take 9. So what I will do is I will strain this through a coffee filter into a wine bottle. All right, now this is how I make colloidal silver. Now when I don't use an air pump and just let it make with the water not being stirred up, it turns an amber color. So because the particles of silver are larger. All right, thanks everybody. God bless you, and hope this will give you some knowledge and ability of your own to possibly make your own colloidal silver and kind of sort of save yourself some money from buying it.